The city wind was biting that night, the kind that cuts right through your coat and chills you to the bone. I was just trying to get home, exhausted from a long day at work, my mind already on takeout and a mindless TV show. But as I rounded the corner to my apartment building, I saw her, a young woman, maybe my age, hunched on the cold steps. Her jacket was worn, her jeans were torn, and her eyes held a mix of sheer exhaustion and quiet defiance. A small backpack sat beside her, looking like it held everything she owned in the world. My first thought, keep walking. The city is full of people in need, and I was just so tired. I didn't think I had anything left to give. But then she looked up. Our eyes met for just a split second, but in that moment, something shifted inside me. Before I knew what I was doing, I heard my own voice, softer than I expected. "Hey," I said. "Are you okay?" She hesitated, then gave a small nod. "I'm fine, just tired." Her voice cracked on that last word, and my heart cracked with it. I stood there, my practical brain screaming at me to go inside, my heart urging me to stay. Finally, I let out a sigh. "Have you eaten?" She shook her head. The words came out before I could stop them. "Come upstairs. I was about to make dinner." I added with a small laugh, "Well, reheat leftovers, if I'm being honest." She just blinked at me, startled. "You don't even know me," she said. I shrugged. "True, but you look like you could use a warm meal." The pause that followed felt like it stretched for an eternity. Then, slowly, she picked up her backpack and followed me inside. The warmth of my apartment seemed to overwhelm her. She hovered by the door, hesitant, like a little bird that had accidentally flown into a house and didn't know how to get out. I tried to act casual, bustling around the kitchen, pulling out a pot of soup I'd made the day before. "I'm Amelia, by the way," I called over my shoulder. "Clara," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. I gestured toward the couch. "Make yourself comfortable, Clara. You don't have to stand there like I'm about to kick you out." Slowly, bit by bit, I watched her relax. By the time I set 2 bowls of steaming soup on the coffee table, her shoulders had finally dropped from their tense, guarded position. We ate in silence at first, the only sound being the clinking of our spoons. But then, between spoonfuls, her story started to spill out. Clara told me she'd been homeless for months, ever since she lost her job and, consequently, her apartment. She had no family nearby, and the city shelters were almost always full. "I'm used to people ignoring me," she said, her gaze fixed on her soup bowl, "or treating me like I don't exist." A sharp ache went through my chest. I looked at her, really looked at her, and said, "Well, you exist to me." Clara looked up at me then, and the look in her eyes, it was a mix of surprise, gratitude, and something that looked a lot like hope. It made my breath catch in my throat. One night turned into 2. I kept telling myself she just needed a safe place to rest for a few days, to get back on her feet. But the truth was, I liked having her around. My quiet, sterile apartment suddenly felt alive. Clara would laugh at my terrible cooking attempts, and she started leaving little handwritten notes on my fridge. "Don't forget your umbrella," or "Good luck at work today." I found myself looking forward to coming home more than I ever had before. Then, one evening, it happened. We were curled up on the couch, watching some old black and white movie. Sometime during the 3rd act, Clara fell asleep. her head coming to rest on my shoulder. I froze, not daring to move, not wanting to wake her, but the gentle weight of her head, the warmth of her body so close to mine. It stirred something deep inside me, something I'd been trying very hard to ignore. I looked down at her face, so peaceful in sleep, and a thought whispered through my mind. Oh no, I'm fallen for her. The next morning was awkward. I was quiet, distant, completely unsure how to act around her. Clara, of course, noticed immediately. Did I do something wrong? She asked, her voice laced with anxiety. No, I said quickly. Not at all. I hesitated, my heart pounding in my chest like a drum. Actually, you've done the opposite. You've reminded me what it feels like to care about someone. Clara just blinked at me. Amelia, I know this is crazy. I rushed on, the words tumbling out. I invited you in as a total stranger, and I don't want to make things uncomfortable. But somewhere along the way, I couldn't finish the sentence. I didn't have to, because in that moment, Clara leaned forward and kissed me. It was soft, hesitant, but so certain. When we pulled back, her eyes were shining. You're the first person who's seen me in months, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Really, seen me? I think I started falling for you the first night you offered me soup. I let out a laugh that was half a sob. Soup? That's all it took. Clara grinned, a real, radiant grin. Best soup I've ever had. From that night on, everything was different, but in the best possible way. With me cheering her on, Clara slowly began to rebuild her life, finding part-time work and a stability she hadn't had in a long time. And me, I discovered that opening my door to a stranger had opened my heart in ways I never, ever expected. It all started with a simple act of kindness, a bowl of soup on a cold night, and it ended with love. Now, every time we sit down for dinner, Clara gives me a playful look and says, "Careful, Amelia. You never know who you might fall in love with when you invite them to dinner." Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share this piece of our story with you. If it moved you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more stories. You never know what a little kindness can lead to. See you next time.